You're listening to the Radcast, a top 25 worldwide business podcast. If it's radical, we cover it. Here's your host, Ryan Alford.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the latest edition of the Radcast. We're talking houses today, my friend. We're talking radical flipping, radical entrepreneurs. We're talking Tarek El Moussa. What's up, brother?
Not much, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, man. Just trying to get the hyperbole going over here. All the hype for my friend Tarek. I've been watching from afar. My wife doesn't let us miss a single episode of Flipping 101, which I know you're the host of, and of course the historic Flip or Flop. So it's good to talk to you, man.
Well, you guys are going to be busy because there's I think almost 200 episodes.
Dude, we've seen them all, I think. We're getting around to the reruns, you know. HGTV's awesome. got us hooked up. But how's life treating you, brother?
Life's good. Heather and I, we just had our 5-month anniversary, which is very exciting. We got married last year. Kids are doing fantastic. We're excited that we're going into spring, buying as much real estate as I can, teaching as many people as I can, and just having a lot of fun.
I know. It looks like it. I've always liked your kind of spirit on the show. There's kind of like that, I don't know what it is. You have a real approachable quality to you. I think feel like you come off knowledgeable, but you never come off arrogant. It's just I don't know. I think there's a real good, I think that's why the show was so popular and had the longevity. I mean, you guys, dude.
People watch me on TV and they're like, if this guy can do it, I mean, shit, I can do it. That's why, if this guy can do it, anybody could do it. Actually, most people don't know this, but I actually learned how to flip houses while filming the first season of Flip or Flop. I had no idea how to flip houses.
Hey, you pulled it off. Hey, man, maybe you got some acting possibilities too then, right? Is that what you're saying? Hey, and I appreciate the branding. I like the TEM hat. Very good. Hey, as a marketer at heart, I appreciate the branding nod. So
there's a really, really great story behind this hat. So, I've been on TV for a while now. As you said, I've done all these episodes. And over the years, I've always had people coming up to me. They're like, hey, Tarek, we want to partner with you. We want to buy real estate with you. And honestly, my answer was always no, because I was like, well, I don't really need partners in to go flip a house, right? I can do that on my own. So, I'm just obsessed with real estate. And then I created the company TEM Investments. And TEM Investments gives investors the opportunity to partner with me. And we're out buying apartment buildings right now. So last year, we bought 3 apartment buildings in Arizona. And in a few weeks, we're closing on a 190 unit in Mesquite, Texas. So if anyone wants to partner with Tarek, you got to check out TEM Investments.
There we go. I like it. Good plug. And I love the branding. I had Grant Cardone on last month, and he was the real estate thing's hot, man. Let's just be honest. It's crazy. The smartest guys I know, it sounds like you might fall in this camp, Tarek. The Grant's telling me in my ear about real estate. You're talking about it. I mean, what is it about real estate right now that's just so hot?
I mean, there's so many amazing things about real estate. One is people are extremely excited about the appreciation of real estate, right? But at the same time, the last couple of years, we've seen the fastest appreciation in, I think, U.S. history. So that's one thing to look at. But real estate's an amazing thing. You can depreciate against your taxes. You get appreciation. You get cash flow. You get leverage. And it's just a fun and exciting business.
Yeah. Let's back up for a second, Tarek. I do want to, and I'm sure you've done these in the past, but I do want our audience to know, obviously you've been on reality TV for 10 plus years. I'm sure most have heard the name, if not, but I'd love to give, a little bit of that organic story for you, from, just that professional journey.
Yeah, sure. So I'll give you the 3 to 4 minute version. I got out of high school, and at 19 years old, I was selling kitchen knives. Most people know Cutco kitchen knives because half the world has sold those knives. And I ended up losing my sales book. And inside my sales book had all my leads, all my contacts. And back then when I was 19, that's how I made my living. So I lost my sales book. I was going broke. I didn't want to get a job. I was at a Washington Mutual Bank. And I was just standing there at the ATM machine. And I was like, shit, what do I do now? I have no money. And I swear, true story, I looked up to the right and there was this big crooked sign said Wise Old Owl Real Estate School. And I had a defining moment. I call defining moment a moment in your life that changes the trajectory of your life. So I was like, shit, man, if I could sell knives, I could sell houses. So I walked right over to that crooked sign, opened the door, walked in, and I signed up for real estate classes. And it was a rocky ride. So I was officially licensed, I believe, at 20. And my first 6 months in the business, young, hungry, motivated, excited, I completely struck out. I didn't get one sale. And I wanted to quit real estate. And I hated school. And I was going to go back to school. And randomly, there was a seminar coming into town by the name of a guy, Mike Ferry. And it was a real estate coaching seminar. It was a free seminar. And I was 20 years old kid. I just got out of high school. I didn't even know that coaching existed in the business world. For me, a coach was a baseball coach, a football coach, a hockey coach, right? Like I didn't even know you can get a real estate coach. So I go to this free seminar, and by the end of this thing, like this Mike Ferry guy has me convinced I'm the smartest son of a bitch alive. I'm going to be the most successful guy alive. Like he convinced me I was unstoppable, and it was like all mindset. It was wild. And at the end of that free seminar, I'll never forget. I walked up to him and I handed him a piece of paper. I said, "Hi, my name's Tarek El Moussa. You don't know who I am today, but one day you will." By the way, he knows who I am now. He does.
I bet he does.
So what I did is I signed up for one-on-one coaching, and back then it was $1,000 a month, and I'm like, where am I going to get $1,000 a month? Like that was like $1 zillion back then. So of course I put it on my credit card. And for me personally, I was going through a really rough period in my life because I had just broken up with my girlfriend. My parents got divorced. My mom rented out my bedroom because she needed money, so I moved into her garage. And so now and it was a real garage. It wasn't converted. Like there was cockroaches and spiders. Like my dirt bike was in there, like WD-40 cans. Like it was a garage. And it was crazy what happened. So I literally went all in. I put this on my credit card. And if my coach told me to do something, I would do what he told me times 10. Like whatever he told me to do, I would blow the goal out of the water. And my life felt like it changed overnight. So I believe it was within 3 or 4 months. I went from earning $0 in 6 months to $120,000 in commissions in a very short period of time, which averaged, I think it was like 30, 40 grand a month. So imagine being like a broke 20-year-old kid. Next thing you know, you're making 40 grand a month. And it was like, life-changing.
Damn.
So Within I think 4 or 5 months, I moved out of that garage. I bought almost $1 million house up in like Anaheim Hills, Orange, California, and had no furniture. I had nothing. I moved into this house and I thought I made it. I thought I was king of the world. And you know what? I was doing really well with real estate, and I built my business through prospecting, pretty much cold calling expired listings and door knocking. I just hustled, man. It was just a hustle. And 2007 came around, 2006 came around, wiped me out. I had to sell my house. I had to sell my cards. I had to sell everything I had. And I moved in this little crappy apartment, and talk about some depressing years. So for 2 years, it was rough. Like everybody was running out of real estate. Homeowners were calling me. They're like, take my keys. We don't want our house. I was like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean you don't want your house? Like literally just call, you can have it. Like we don't want it. And I didn't know what to do. So I remember I did a short sale transaction, a first, a second, a third, an HOA lien, an IRS lien. I worked this deal for like a year. At the end of the day, I made like $7,000. And I was like, and then I looked at the investor I sold it to. He put it on the market a week later after painting it. And he made like $127,000. So that was the moment I knew. I was like, well, wait a minute. I found the deal. I negotiated the deal. Why am I not making the money on the deal? So that's when I decided I want to be a real estate investor. So now I'm 29 years old. So I pitch everybody I know, like literally everybody I know. And every single person I pitched had every reason why it's not going to work and why I was going to fail. Oh, it's too risky. The market's bad. You're too young. You don't have the experience. You don't know construction. Like every bullshit excuse you can think of. And every time someone would tell me no, it would piss me off more and get me more motivated to prove them wrong that I could do it. Because I'm a guy that's insecure enough to likes to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I can't do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I finally found a guy to do it. He's actually still one of my business partners today, Pete DeBest. And we bought our first flip, Santa Ana, California, paid $115,000 for it, remodeled that thing, and we ended up making profit of about $34,000. And the interesting thing is, the first week we bought that very first flip, I was at a real estate convention in Las Vegas. I met a guy, told me he had a local TV show and he got a bunch of business out of it. So I leave that seminar. It was a Mike Ferry seminar again. And I was like, man, I got to get on TV. I was like, how do I get on TV? What do I got to do? And it was like 10 o'clock at night. I'll never forget my ex-wife. She's like, you coming to bed? I was like, no, I'm going to get us a TV show. She goes, you're crazy. I said, I know I'm crazy, but crazy works. So I literally just jumped on my computer and I started Googling like Hollywood production companies, Los Angeles production companies. And I just sent like resumes and pictures and said, hey, I want to flip houses on TV. So what happened was I wanted to be on TV and I had just bought my first flip. So this is where the idea for Flip or Flop came from. I was like, well, shit, why don't I flip houses on TV? So the production company next day, they emailed me back and they're like, send a home video. I send the home video. They liked the home video. Then they wanted to do a 2-day professional shoot, which is called a sizzle. They came out for 2 days and then they shot that out to the networks and nobody wanted it. We got nothing. So I had given up on it, but I was still working on building the real estate stuff. You know, TV was like, you know, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
And then 10 months later, I got a call from HGTV or from the production company. So you're not going to believe it, but HGTV wants to do a pilot. So it was summer of 2011. We shot the pilot for Flip or Flop. And then it went back to the network. And immediately after they got it, they loved it. And then they sent me a contract to do 13 houses in 10 months on national TV. So as you can imagine, you should be excited, right?
Yeah.
You know, 13, you got a TV show. Well, here was the problem. Well, 1, I had no money. And 2, I had no houses. And 3, I didn't know how to flip houses because in my entire life, I was only on my 3rd flip. So I went from doing 3 flips in a year to now they wanted 13 in 10 months on TV. So I remember I called my lawyer at the time. I was like, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? He's like, well, they can sue you. And I looked around in my room and I was like, well, they can have it. So I signed the contract and that's what I did, man. I burned the boats. I went all in on that. In that first year, I just didn't sleep. And I said, I'm going to learn how to flip these houses while filming this show. And pulled it off. And we ran that show for 10 seasons. It's the most famous house flipping show of all time.
Dude, what a story.
It was a wild ride.
It was a wild ride.
Cancers in there, public divorce in there, and a whole bunch of other wild shit. But it's been fun.
I know. But people don't know. I don't think people know that. That's why I'm glad. I'm glad for people to hear your side of kind of like that backstory. Every person I have, we're roughly the same age. I think I'm a little older than you, but everyone that's been in our circle, that 2007-8, I know exactly where the story's going. As soon as they say the year, it's like tank. It's like almost every especially real estate, right?
Dude, like people don't understand. Talk about hard times. Like shit, man. I went 4 months in 2007 without a paycheck. I was so broke. I used to go to Subway and steal lemonade in water cups, splitting $5 footlongs. Like people don't get it. Like they see my ass on TV flipping. Like they're missing all the real shit. I spent 10 years of my life miserable and alone, working 16-hour days to make this life happen. Yeah. And that's really what it takes. The key to success is getting comfortable doing what's uncomfortable.
There you go. It's in my personal Bible. Glad you could say it. I like it. So a lot to unpack there. I do. It's so funny. You were talking about the pump up seminar for the real estate stuff, like all that shit. Every person that comes out of those things is like so pumped up. It's like coming out thinking they're going to knock the world out, but you're one of the few people that actually did it, right?
Well, yeah, but you want to know why? Because I was willing to suffer and put in the work. Where most people, they're not willing to put in the work. So I'm a big believer that anything's possible if you're willing to put in the work.
So where did that come from, Tarek? Like, how did that? Is it just innate? And I have this discussion a lot with guys like you. It's like nature or nurture, like which one is it? Just in you?
Dude, like I'm like I said earlier, I hate when people tell me I can't do something. It really pisses me off. And the biggest coach in my life was my dad. Not a he's an immigrant to this country, but he coached me on mindset and really mostly on sports. And at 5 years old, I learned a very valuable lesson. My dad was a soccer coach. I loved playing soccer, and he was an incredible player. So my dad was actually invited to be the head coach of the all-star soccer team. So as a 5-year-old, so excited. And then when my dad picked the team, he didn't pick me.
Oh, shit.
So he didn't, like, I'll never forget being at the dinner table, 5 years old, just like crying my eyes out. And I was like, well, why didn't you pick me? And he said, son, I love you. You're not good enough. But he said, I'll never forget. He said, you're not good enough. But if you work really hard, next year, you're going to make that team.
Damn.
So what was the lesson my dad taught me?
Yeah.
You don't get shit for free. No one's going to do it for you but you. And the only way to get success is to put in the work. So that's what I learned at 5 years old. If I wanted something, I had to work for it. No one's going to give it to me.
Hey, I love that. Amen. Hey, a lot to learn there. I feel like everybody thinks it's going to be handed to you. The biggest thing now is just things come easy, it seems, or they think that it does. And it's the biggest misconception the world is being misled by is how easy things can, it's like.
Yes, this is 20 years later. Shit, things are easier now, but it took 20 years of hell to get to the easy.
That's right. That's exactly right. So talk about reality TV for a minute. So, I mean, you've done it. Shit. I mean, most reality TV shows do not have the longevity you guys had. Number one, I mean, I'd say you're probably like the top 1% if I just had to guess, purely unscientific guess, but I would guess because most of them would go, what, a year, 2, 3 years. So you're 10, a couple seasons. So how real was your reality TV?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was real because I don't know, like here's like if you watch my show, like literally I wore like sandals, black board shorts, t-shirts. I looked like I was like a bum half the time. Like I didn't even think about being on TV. I was just thinking about not going bankrupt because I didn't know how to flip houses and just unfortunately there were cameras there. So like it was all real. Like at the beginning, I didn't know anything about anything and I just kind of figured it out as I went.
But I guess I meant as the whole, because I mean, obviously you talked about the ups and downs. Your whole life is being played out. But your kids grew up on reality TV in a way. I know they weren't the center of the story, but obviously, you watched them through the series. Like everybody feels like watching them growing up. Like, did it become more not staged? Might be the wrong word, but like how much staging is involved in kind of making the show as interesting as it was?
You're following the processes of a flip, right? So you can't stage that. You have to show the demo. You have to show the walkthrough. You have to show the design. You have to show the remodel, right?
Yep.
And then outside of that, it would follow small parts of our personal life. It wasn't a personal life reality show. So it only gave a little peek inside of our personal life.
Yeah. Did, what's your net from the show? And I'm talking we'll get to Flipping 101 in a minute. And we're talking with Tarek El Moussa from Flip or Flop, serial entrepreneur, and what seems like a pretty fucking cool dude now that I'm getting to know him. So Tarek, talk to me about like your net takeaway from Flip or Flop. Are you like high gratitude, really appreciate it? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like what's your net,
I mean, shit, I'm 40 years old now and I spent almost a third of my life filming that TV show. So, it's a part of me. It'll always be with me. I'll always have those memories. I mean, shit, when I'm a 60, 70, 80-year-old man, I can go back and watch myself as a 29-year-old kid. So it's definitely something in my life I wouldn't change. And it's been an incredible experience and one hell of a ride.
How do you think about it? As you talked about the company, but I like to talk about this. We work with a lot of CEOs, founders on personal branding, and obviously having a show on TV for 10 years certainly elevated you to your persona and all that. But when I say the words personal branding to you, where does your mind go with the Tarek El Moussa brand and like your perspective on yourself?
I'm a big believer in not just flipping houses. I'm a big believer in flipping your life. Like I'm talking about upgrade your wardrobe, take your goddamn vitamins, go to the stupid gym, buy nicer clothing, get your shit tailored, always be the best version of you possible. And I'm always going under a remodel. I'm always working on myself. I'm always trying to improve. I'm always trying to become the best version of me.
Do you, I guess you obviously have seen and understand the leverage that comes with the attention you've built through the show, right? Being known pays dividends, as I like to say. And I feel like that's paying dividends for you even now, right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps with certain things, but like when it comes to real estate, it's not like, oh, I've seen you on TV, I'm going to take less from my house, So I still got to operate a business. I mean, we're working our asses off every single day, and it's a grind, and we're just hustling.
I actually wondered. It's funny you say that. Like, I actually started to think. I'm watching the. My wife and I watched. I think we've seen every episode. We have it at Flip or Flop, and I watched it, and as the years went by, I started to wonder, like, did it become harder to get the deals or easier? Because I feel like if they know what you're doing now, and you're the famous flipper, did it ever like get in the way of potentially? Because they're like, damn, this guy's just, I know what he's going to do at this house. He's going to, make all this money on TV. Did that ever play a factor, or did it help you get more deals?
Mixed bag, man. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it hurt, but finding deals today is definitely more difficult than it used to be. I mean, when I first got into flipping, all of my business came from, outgoing prospecting, calling, texting, door knocking. And, today I'm very, very heavy in marketing. So yeah, it's just different.
Yep. Yeah. You said that. So like marketing. So like, how much of it is marketing? What's marketing to you? Like what's your appreciation level of marketing and the role of it in kind of what you're doing?
Marketing's everything. You got to get your phone to ring. So like for me, my first 10 years as an entrepreneur, 12 years as an entrepreneur, I never did any marketing. I was taught sales, and I was taught sales on the phone. So all I did was call people. All I did was text people. All I did was network with people. And then as the short sales and those things started to dry up, I realized, well, hey, I'm building a brand now. I should try this marketing thing. So in 2013 is when I got into marketing. And today we're doing heavy marketing, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. We have TV commercials running throughout Southern California. We have heavy digital marketing campaigns running. We have print mailers going. We have driving for dollars. We have cold calling campaigns. We have texting campaigns. We have email campaigns. So we're just always hitting everything, and I say, in order to get leads, you have to hit them from land, air, and sea. You got to hit them from every angle possible.
I like that. Land, air, and sea. There we go. Ding, ding, ding. Nick, my producer, I told him to circle the marketing is everything. We might use that in some promos. Exactly. So let's talk about Flipping 101. I think we're finishing season 2, about to head into season 3. Talk to me about what people, if they haven't already tuned, made the jump from Flip or Flop into Flipping 101. I'm sure if they were, they see your promos. I'm sure they've made it. But talk about that.
I mean, it's really similar to Flip or Flop, but it reminds me of like the olden Flip or Flop days when I really had no idea what I was doing. So it's a fun show because, I'm an experienced house flipper working with these rookies, and like to be honest, I have so much knowledge and so much experience, but they still don't listen to me. Thank God, because they don't listen to me, it makes such a fun show. So for the viewer, they're watching, they're like, just listen. And of course they don't listen, and then it doesn't work out. So for me, like Flipping 101 has been crushing it in the ratings. People are really liking that show. So if you guys want to see a really exciting show, you got to check out Flipping 101.
Yeah, so you're taking the novice, the guys that were you, maybe the true you from season 1, and you're walking them through the ropes. It is funny. I watch every time I'm like, you're giving them advice, and I could tell the setup's coming. Like you're telling them, and I'm like, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. It's like, why don't they fucking do it? I'm like, why aren't they doing it?
It's one of those things, but like I coach people all the time. So obviously I'm coaching people on the show Flipping 101. But outside of Flipping 101, I'm passionate about coaching. Like it's my favorite thing to do. So like I told you early on, as a broke kid, I got a coach and I made all this money because my coach actually showed me what to do, because I just had no idea what to do. So what do you work on when you don't know what to do? It's like trying to teach yourself golf. Well, you're just going to keep practicing the wrong swing. How are you going to get better? Right. So I'm passionate about coaching. So that's why I actually launched an online real estate school called Homeschooled by Tarek. Nice. And now we're teaching people across the country how to flip houses, how to buy rentals. And that's been very exciting too.
Homeschool by Tarek, people. Go check it out.
Yeah, and it was actually a great name because I came up with the name Homeschooled before the pandemic came out. And then everybody had to homeschool their kids. So now everybody knows homeschool.
He's a true marketer, folks. He was ahead of his time. He knew the pandemic was coming. Talk to me a little bit, Tarek, about like real estate advice. People are listening. I like to get all these experts on, and we like to share knowledge with our audience. Hot market, a lot going on. I know we're going to link to some of the stuff that they can get involved with you at the end, where you can, I'm sure, go much more in depth. But what's some trends or tips or things you put out there for people that are thinking about real estate investing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's the absolute best business in the world, but at the same time, I always say, before you invest in anything, you have to invest in yourself. What does that mean? It doesn't mean the first step is to go out there and buy a house tomorrow. It means the first step is to learn about the business, to learn how to buy a house, and then you go buy a house. So it's really important to have some knowledge, and it's not rocket science. Just get a little bit of knowledge and get and just start the process. And I'm a big believer in just take your time. If you don't get a deal your first month, it's okay. If you don't get a deal your first 2 months, it's okay. If you don't get a deal your first 3 months, it's okay, as long as you're practicing and as long as you're learning. Because over time, no matter what, just like riding a bike, things are going to start to click.
What's the biggest, and I know you go through this on Flipping 101, but people that get into flipping, what do you think the biggest misconception is with flipping?
The biggest misconception is that you make your money from the construction, might be one of them.
Okay. So
a lot of people are so focused on the construction. So they just want to go buy a fixer upper, and then they think about the remodel. Just because a house is a piece of crap doesn't make it a good deal. So it all comes down to what you actually pay for that house. So it's very important to buy it at the right price, because if you get it at the right price and if things go wrong, you're still going to be okay.
In other words, focus more on the pig and not putting lipstick on it.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Exactly. And that's it. You have to be a hunter. You have to know how to generate leads. You have to know how to evaluate properties. And ultimately, you need to know what to pay for real estate.
Yeah. What percent of like what you're up to now is still in the flip part of it? I mean, is that still like the large portion of what you're doing? I know you got your hands in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So we're not really doing much wholesaling anymore, just because the market's been appreciating so fast. Over the last 60 days, I think I bought right around 50 flips, and probably 10 to 12 rental properties in the last 2 months.
So you've bought 50 in the last 60 days that you are in the active process of renovating and flipping.
Yeah.
Shit. And you made it sound like...
I'm pretty disappointed. I'm over here trying to figure out how to buy 5,000 in 60 days. So I'm pretty pissed off at myself right now.
No. Geez. All in your area? Like all in California?
SoCal, yeah. SoCal.
Yeah, all SoCal. So 50 in SoCal.
And then the rentals are out of state.
Okay.
Different markets. I have houses in North Carolina, Atlanta, Oklahoma, just different markets. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you flipping out of California though? Or is it just...
No, just rentals out of California. So rental properties, my partner and I, we own, I think it's right about 160 houses right now as rental properties, all self-funded. So no outside investors. And then we've really just been grinding on building the flipping business and made a lot of changes over the last couple of years here. And we're really starting to see some great results.
Yeah. How long, the TV thing, I mean, Flipping 101 headed into season 3. I mean, do you see that as kind of do you enjoy the TV, the production side? It's not all glamour, as you know.
No, it's tough. It's tough being on TV, especially when you're an entrepreneur with a bunch of ADHD. TV can be slow, but at the end of the day, to be able to watch an episode, it's extremely rewarding, and be able to coach these people, it's extremely rewarding. So I have no plans of getting off TV. I'm just looking to continue to build my brand, get better at real estate, teach more people, and help more people make money with real estate.
How do you, where do you get your knowledge? So now that you're kind of in the prime of your career, like knowledge and, opportunities, you've learned a lot. You've got the, thicker skin maybe from the experiences of 2007. I mean, but what's your source of, knowledge, learning, and other things now that you're kind of at your level?
Sure. I'm a guy that learns by doing.
Yeah.
That's it. I learned by doing. Like, what does that mean? Well, how do you get off market deals? You got to talk to homeowners. So I picked up the phone. I sounded like an asshole. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was calling off market. And as time goes on, just like in sports, when I was 5 years old, the more you practice at something, the better you're going to get. So for me, like I taught myself how to flip houses just through, practicing and trial and error. I tried everything. I put signs on the freeway. I door knocked. I texted. I cold called. I drove for dollar. Like, you name it. I tried it. I did everything.
Talk about family. Your kids are growing up on TV in a way, obviously not as the central characters. 5 months into a new marriage, you and Heather seem extremely happy. What's that part of, it just seems like a really important part of your life.
It is the most important part of my life. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. I had some pretty sketchy years there for a while. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And now I'm the healthiest I've ever been in my life. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. And I'm 40 years old. And I'm just so focused on my children. I'm focused on Heather. And we're planning on having another baby soon. So I'm just looking to family. And I'm just so excited about life because for me, like when the kids are older, it's going to be a family business. I want the kids coming in, working with me. I want them to do real estate investing. I want them to be passionate about what they're doing. And I'm really excited for working with them.
That's cool. It's a good legacy to be living. I mean, and what, at least as we're kind of concluding, talking with Tarek El Moussa from Flip or Flop, serial entrepreneur, flipping 101. We're going to tell you the links here at the end of the show. What do you want the legacy to be, brother? I mean, like, I think you've encapsulated throughout the show, but I do want to kind of reiterate for everyone. 20, 30 years from now, like when you look back, what do we want people to think and remember about Tarek?
I want people to remember that anything is possible. I showed the world that a guy that grew up with no money in Buena Park, California, ended up on TV with $1 to his name. And he did something with his life while a TV camera followed him. I want to inspire as many people as humanly possible. I want to get as many people into real estate as humanly possible. And I really want to change lives because, people change my life. And it's my obligation to do the same for others.
I love it, brother. So let's give everybody some of the places they can keep up with you, some of these projects, how they can get involved with you.
Sure. If you're an accredited investor, you want to partner with me on some apartment buildings, you got to check TEM Investments or investwithtarek.com. If you want to learn how to flip houses, which is to be active real estate investor, go out there and find, fix, and sell. You got to check out homeschooledbytarek.com. And if you got a house to sell, you got to check out tarekbuyshouses.com.
There we go. I love it. All the places to keep up. Tarek, I really appreciate your time, brother. I know there's been some enlightening things here for people get to know you a little deeper, a little better. Really appreciate your transparency and willingness to kind of open up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys want to see a little bit of everything that's going on, my Instagram is the real Tarek El Moussa. And the reason it's the real is because someone stole my name.
There's your note for people. I personally bought all of my children's names on Instagram 10 years ago, along with mine, for that very reason. You never know. So that's cool, brother. I really appreciate you.
All right, man. Great chatting with you. And until next time.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for Tarek El Moussa coming on the show. You know where to find us. We're at theradcast.com. Search for Flip or Flop or any of the content from today. All the highlight clips will come up. I'm at Ryan Alford on all the platforms. We'll see you next time on the Radcast.
To listen or watch full episodes, visit us on the web at theradcast.com or follow us on social media at our Instagram account, the.rad.cast, or at Ryan Alford. Stay radical.